Yeah, I had to jump off the YouTube bandwagon and had to go on to Restream because for some reason it didn't want to work for me. So uh, thank you for coming on to this YouTube stream. Um, I'm just going to bring this up onto. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Um, So my video yesterday that was about Sadhguru got a bit of got a bit of traction, I think. I had some comments by people, which was interesting. Um Hey long lost, nice to see you. Thank you for your comment earlier. I really appreciate it. Um so yes. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a casual, just a non-duality chat to see how everything's going. Can I talk about attachments? Sure. Well, actually, that's a good question. What would you like to know about attachments? Like, um, what is it that you would like me to discuss about attachments? Because we can have attachments to many things. So we have to decide which attachment is good for us or not. But I am how they can create fear. Okay. Um, okay. So um, hey, outside this perspective. One second. Let me turn my light on. Right. So attachments. I've been thinking about attachments for a while. In fact, I've been thinking about it quite a bit. What is attachment, and why does it create fear? And it's always about loss. Now, I've often said in my podcasts and even in live sessions that when we talk about fear, the biggest fear we have is death. No matter what, it's the fear of death that keeps us that that begins this attachment that we have with other people. We don't want to lose them, and we don't, and because we haven't embraced our own death, which is the birth of all fear, um, we also fear the death of other people. And because we don't know what happens after death, it's even because it is an unknown, and rightfully so an unknown, we get worried about people. So what tends to happen is we get attached to people. We fear losing them. We fear losing our possessions. We fear losing the life that we're living, or the little that we have, or the more that we have. We fear losing all those things because we know that indirectly everything is finite. Everything has a time span. We know this internally and intuitively, but when we live life, we live as if we're living for an infinite amount of time. So even if we have a problem, we get attached to our problems. We want to ensure that our problems continue. We kind of, even though we look for solutions, but in a way, at the same time, if we didn't have problems, what would we do? We fear that. We fear the aloneness. So there's a lot of things that we may fear, um, and that is, you know, in my opinion, it's all about. It all begins with death. All ends with death, and when we're able to. accept our own finiteness, we then understand the finiteness of attachments. Attachments aren't bad. For example, when you're in a family, you're going to be attached to your spouse, to your children, to your mom and dad. These are natural attachments, and it's only when we identify too much with them that they become a problem. Or let's say we're not aligned in the correct manner. So, for example, instead of what spirituality would do is it would say it's fine to be attached to your friends and to your family, to your to your children, to your spouse, to your parents, but it's also very important to make your vision more broad. So instead of just being attached to your clan, to your family, to your caste, to your society, broaden it for the whole of the universe. So what the rishis guide us to do is to have a broader vision. So it's not like we get rid of attachment. All we do is we enlarge the scope of attachment. So in a way, now let's go a bit deeper because I do want to take you to that level. If there is only you, where is the attachment? There is only your awareness. There's only awareness. There's nothing more. So once you identify yourself as formless awareness, as this Nirgun Brahman, you're going to lose attachment. Attachment is only with the name and form. And therefore, what we do with the name and forms, we expand it to all name and forms. So instead of it being attached to a limited amount of people, we make it limitless. So that's the way I find, when I find myself that I've been practicing. So, for example, if I feel that I'm getting too attached to something or someone, I will ask myself, do I know where I'm going with this? Am I aware of how limited this relationship is? Do I know that there's something broader than this? Do I know that the person in front of me is also me? So what am I attached to? You know, this is the thing that you can do. You can do this inquiry. So um being uh, attached is not a bad thing. Uh, it has its purpose too. Just understand its purpose. So, for example, you need to have attachment to your family because if you don't, you're not going to go out and earn money or study or whatever you need to do to earn a living. You need attachment. It's just about making sure we control it. These things, attachment isn't as bad as people make it out to be. I think sometimes um, we need to understand things right in the right manner for them to have for us to then maximize its use. Remember that these things aren't meant to control us, they're meant to serve us. So if you ever find that an attachment is taking over or fear is taking over, ask your mind, what is it fearing? And you'll find what is happening when that fear is there is fear that is identified with a name and form, Namarup. And we have to go beyond Namarup into that formless awareness and make our vision more broad. So I hope that's answered the question. Um, so I've got someone called Chai Gora on TikTok. Bro, I've had profound experiences in meditation. That's amazing, great. But I still get lost in thought, frustrated, anger. Don't look for a quick fix when it comes to spirituality. When it comes to meditation, take your time. Like, it's okay if you get lost in thought, fine. The thing is, you are aware that you're lost in thought. Go back to that awareness. When you feel frustrated, something is aware that you're frustrated. Go back to that awareness. If you get angry, go back to that person that is aware. Go back to that awareness that is aware of the anger. So it's not bad. And just remember that you've got lifetimes of anger, frustration, lots of thoughts, memories that you're tackling through meditation. So it's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's fine. In fact, if they still come up, that means you still have work to do. Good. I mean, for me, the work is just as important as the destination. And in fact, it is the journey that is so beautiful that um, that allows us to enjoy the destination. So don't worry about that. It's absolutely fine. It's Don't get too worked up about you know anger appearing again, frustration appearing again, or things like that. It's absolutely fine. In fact, use those as signs to know where you need to improve. So, for example, if anger is arising, you can then do the inquiry into why anger is arising, and then analyze that. That's what you need to do. But how do I know if my experiences in meditation are real or nothing more than my imagination or enlightenment? And that is faith, my friend. You gotta trust the process. You gotta trust what you're doing. You gotta trust that what you're doing is taking you to the next level. You've got to you've got to understand whether that's reality or not. I can turn around to you and say it's reality and it's not imagination, it's enlightenment. The fact that you're asking if it's imagination or enlightenment, you know for a fact it's not enlightenment. You wouldn't ask this question. When Swami Vivekananda was asked, when he asked Sri Ramakrishna, can you show me God? And Ramakrishna responded back that I can see God as clear as I see you. There was no hesitation. There was no aspect of imagination in that answer. So once you know you're enlightened, you know you're enlightened. As simple as that. You will know it's not imagination. So go beyond and it takes time. Everyone wants a quick fix with spirituality. Everyone wants a fast food delivery service, but it's not like that. You have to work hard for spirituality. You have to really put in a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time, and only a few people get it really suddenly. And even then, um, even in the case of Ramana Maharishi, when he got it at a young age, even then he spent years meditating afterwards. So take your time. Don't get bogged down. So yeah, you will know. Imagination. At the end of the day, you know what your mind creates, so you will know more than anyone. So you know, we don't need enlightenment. Is about seeing things clearly. So um, I don't know if it was a video I watched of Sadhguru's yesterday or it was Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji, but they talked about how when there's a room that's dark, when you're walking in that dark room, you don't know where things are. So you could, and there's a bit of fear because you may bash into something and hurt yourself. Whilst with, whilst with, whilst when the light turns on, you know where everything is. So is it now your imagination when the lights turned on? Or was it your imagination working in the darkness, thinking that there might be a snake there, there might be an item that you could bash into, when there may not be? Yeah. So it's only in the light do we then see things clearly. So enlightenment is about seeing things clearly, seeing things where they are, and you just know. Yeah, you can see everything. Um, Danika Sachin, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. So, um, so yeah, that's my answer. Well, finally, an answer, I believe. Well, I try to give the answers that work for me. I mean, I'm not going to tell somebody something that is not going to that's not honest to me. So I feel it takes time. It's taken time for me, um, and I like the fact that it's taking time. Th- In fact, I would even go further to say that because it's taking time, it there's a lot more joy, and I'm seeing the changes. What's interesting is I know within me the one that is observing everything is not changing. And the more I immerse into that, I understand that that is everything. But I know that my name and form, my mind, is still going through a refinement. And when I read more scriptures, when I read more, I listen to the different gurus talk. You know, the more and the more books I read of the great saints and sages, it helps me. And and I get to refine my understanding, and therefore I go deeper into meditation the next time. So yeah, that's my answer. Would you say you are enlightened? Would I say I'm enlightened? I would never say I'm enlightened. Um, and even if I was, as I always say, it's none of any. It's got nothing to do with anybody. If I'm enlightened, what does it do for you? It does nothing. And in fact, I don't think someone who's enlightened can say I am enlightened without saying there is only enlightenment, because once it happens to you, you see it everywhere. So I don't know whether I can say that I am enlightened. In my opinion, everyone is already enlightened. They just don't know it, maybe. Their mind probably doesn't accept it right now, or their mind hasn't thought about it right now. It doesn't see it clearly right now. That may be the case. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say personally that I feel that I'm enlightened. Like, I don't know. Uh, the thing is, people have made enlightenment into this mysterious, um, magical moment. I don't think if, well, I have had mystical experiences, but I don't know if I would say that I have completely transcended. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't. I won't say that I'm enlightened. I will say there is only enlightenment. It's it's ignorance that has superimposed itself. Ignorance doesn't actually exist. So once you see things from sorry, so once you see things from that level, that ignorance doesn't exist, and that only enlightenment is, then the question of whether I'm enlightened or you're enlightened is out of the scope. Yeah. So that's the real non-dual, like, kind of experience. But what I will say is I feel that for me, there's a lot more that my mind needs to catch up to. So I wouldn't say that I am enlightened yet. Um, I wouldn't say my mind is enlightened yet. Maybe that would be a better answer, um, or more refined. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't even admit it anyway, even if it was. This would be my standard answer that, oh yeah, my mind is catching up. It's something about me that feels that the moment you say that you're enlightened, that people should recognize that there's a change in you or there's something about you. Like, I don't think, I think if someone has to turn around and say they're enlightened, I would say stay away from them, because why are they saying that? And um and also it shows, in a way, they've added another label. Isn't spirituality about getting rid of the labels? So if you got another label that I'm an enlightened person, it defeats the purpose. Are you in reconditioning? I would say I'm in reconditioning. Hello, M5. I love that name, M5. Yes, I would say I'm in reconditioning. I can see that happening within me. The changes are happening within my mind. I'm seeing it. I'm observing it. I'm watching myself uh, gain more virtues rather than um, adhering to my vices. Not saying the vices do not appear and do not try to, kind of, um, kind of attack me. They do, but but that's the joy as well. Any goals in life? Hmm. Any goals? That's a good question. Yogi TM. Like, I don't know if I could say that. Like, I don't know what we mean by goals in life. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I have certain expectations that I want to see. Like, um, I want to have a child. You know, I want to be a dad. So there's that goal. Um, I want my podcast to be successful, and I want, I want people to watch it and listen to it. So there are goals. But but do they but am I consciously working towards those goals? Yeah, you could say I am, but yeah, they're um but yeah, it's a tough one for me. I think the reason why I find it tough is the moment you say you have a goal is the moment that becomes your only vision. And for me, oh, thank you, M5, thank you. So for me, if I say I have a goal, that would just be everything I think about. But for me, spirituality has allowed me to think a bit bigger. So wherever life takes me, I've got to spontaneously go with it rather than going against it. So I may have, like, you could say I could have a long term plan, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm going to be like, cool, that's fine. So I would say I go more towards the flow of life than have a goal in life. Um, but that's taken years for me to be comfortable with this. I would say prior to this, I was always thinking about goals. And now, I was into this whole self help stuff. Now I'm like, forget that stuff. I don't like it. Yeah. Who wants goals? um, who wants it? Um, yeah. Um, Now I think it's because, you see, when you have a goal, sometimes you may miss out on something really amazing in life. Say, for example, something spontaneously occurs, like an opportunity. Because you're so focused on the goal, you miss that opportunity, which may create so many benefits in your life. So I think, I hope that answers the question. Um, but yeah, I mean, but yeah, I know this. I know it's a long-winded answer to a very simple question. That's me. I always do that. Um, Outsider's perspective, define vice. So vice, I say, anything that goes against your nature is a vice. Not necessarily like sin. I'm not. I don't mean it in that way. Just anything that goes against the the flow of life. I would say that is a vice. So I've sometimes find myself going back into um, incessant chatter. My mind can do that, and I have to then stop my mind. I do this thing where I do speak to my mind. I would tell it to like stop, and I'm in control here. So my mind chats to the mind, type of thing. So yeah, that's something that my guru once said. That tell your ego that there's no room for it, or your mind. Tell it that there's no room for it, and there's only this formless awareness. So I constantly go back to that, and I use that teaching to really um, kind of calm my mind down. Brother, what's your opinion on Sikhism? My opinion is great of Sikhism. Well, I've done one podcast with a Sikh devotee. I've got another one scheduled for next Friday. So with another Sikh, great scholars, they are. So I would say that yeah, my views really, my opinion is great on Sikhism. I think it's very deep. As long as you read the Gurbani in a non-dual sense, you have to look at it in an Advaita lens. So you have to look at it in that way of oneness. Um, if you look at it in terms of separation, that there's me and there's Vaiguru, then you're gonna get something, but it's not gonna be the immense uh, teaching or transmission that the gurus were offering through their compositions, and they're one of the highest. I did a Wisdom of the Mystics with Kabirji and Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So do check them out. They're on my channel on YouTube, or you can listen to it on my podcast. And I just go through the movement that actually just of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's, and even then, just with the movement that I was blown away. Like there's so much that I still, when I listened back to the episode, I was like, oh, I could have said this, I could have said that. So there's so much you can grasp from just the mool mantra in Sikhi. Ik Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhav Nirvair Akal Murut Ajuni Sebang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. So that in its entirety is so deep, and if we truly understand it, we can really advance in spirituality. So yeah, it's good that you've been reading and listening to Gurbani a lot, and relating it to the gyan, to the wisdom, to the vivek that we've been given. Um, there's nothing higher than that. When you keep going back to that formless awareness, that's essentially what you need to go back to and relate everything to, that oneness. So yeah, thank you, M5. I really appreciate that. Just bringing tears to my eyes, but then the political side that just brings everything down. There's political sides to everything. There is no organization or religion that does not have a political side. Um, and I think it's also our discernment whether we want to concentrate on the political side or on the spiritual side. So for me, it's more important that you look towards more spiritual things. And there is so much content spiritually that there's very little you want to entertain politically. Let the people that want to deal with that. But if you really want the spirituality, just focus on that. Um, I'm not saying ignore this political side. There's political sides everywhere, and trust me on this. Everyone claims, um, everyone has, every organization has politics in it, but that's fine. That's and you'll find that the politics in every organization brings it down. But the thing that should we should concentrate on is the spirituality, and that should be the focus. So be aware of attachments to goals. The fruits of actions do not belong to us. Exactly. Like if you have, if you achieve the goals, great. If you don't achieve the goals, great. There's, um, as they say, there's enjoyment in everything. Just be beyond it. Video watch mob. I do the same. It's not going to listen to anyone else but me. Hi, Sawdust for dinner. Thank you for your comments on my video earlier. Uh, which yoga do you? Hello, Roman. Which yoga do you prefer, Gyan, Karma, Bhakti, or Kriya? So, that's a really nice question. I like that question. Um, so, I often say I'm a Gyani in my mind, and my heart is a pure Bhagat. Like I love Bhakti. There are times when, and I believe you need both, um, Gyan and Bhakti, and the natural consequence of those things is karma. And then I think you say Kriya Yoga, which I think you mean is meditation or Raja Yoga. I think Gyan and Bhakti naturally bring out karma and Raja Yoga or meditation. So I think those things. So I'm kind of both. I'm geared towards Gyan and Bhakti. Um, what I would say is, with my Bhakti, it's really weird to say, but it's very rational, very logical. So, like, I won't be like, "Oh God, why is this happening to me?" or "God, make this happen." "God, do this for me, do that for me." I don't do anything like that. But um, my bhakti is just devoted to that formless awareness, and I just completely give myself to that. So, um, but I would say, without gyan, your bhakti can be misdirected. Your devotion can be misdirected. So that's why gyan is so important, actually. And I would say that gyan is needed for karma, bhakti, and kriya, because, or raja yoga, because um, without knowing without knowing that formless awareness, what are you meditating upon? Without knowing that formless awareness, how do you know that you're that way? You will not see that you're serving Brahman itself. Bhakti, you need to know what you're devoting yourself to, what you're emoting yourself to. So, but yeah, I would say Gyan is supreme, and without Gyan, the other three, um, the other three aren't able to function completely. So that's personally my opinion. Um, and let me just say that there may be some people that will say that bhakti is supreme and bhakti is everything, and without devotion you can't get anywhere. But even for you to say that, gyan is needed. So gyan is um, supreme. So gyan, so no, so discernment or discrimination, that's vivek. That is that's for the intellect. Gyan is actually the knowledge of that nirgun Brahman. So knowledge of that formless awareness. So what it is, Gyan is basically when you go directly in contact with that formless awareness. So that's what Gyan is. Gyan Yoga in that regard, that's what it is. Um, anything will do as long as it's not ego Advaita. Yeah, nice to see you, Martin. Yeah, literally, that's true. Like, um, yeah, anything other than ego Advaita. Yeah, some nice questions today. I've really enjoyed. I'm really enjoying the questions. They've been really, really good. Um, so yeah, and outside this perspective, I've talked about discernment and discrimination a lot in my Bhagavad Gita episodes on the podcast. They've really gone into how we utilize the gyan and how to practice the teachings. And then what we do on Saturdays is we use a bit of gyan, but I think now the meditation is becoming so you could say both is gyan and bhakti. Um, so yeah, um, but yeah, really nice questions about um, especially about the yoga. And I've been reading Swami Vivekananda recently, out of just pure joy. Um, there's a lot to learn from him. There's a lot to gain from his understandings, and I recommend that people do read him, because I think the more I read of Swami Vivekananda, the more I realize that he was advancing Advaita Vedanta. And I find it really disrespectful that people say that he was Neo Vedanta, but I say that he was actually advancing it and evolving it for today's time. Um, People make the same comments about Ramana Maharishi too. The really traditional Advaita Vedantists. Um, but that's where I disagree with them. I think you shouldn't be disagreeing with anyone. It's bad. No, I'm joking. Um, so yeah, um, so I like to have your views about this with you who are live with me. Um, so today I had a comment on yesterday's live stream that we did on enlightenment, and we looked at Sadhguru's words, and we looked at videos and Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji. And one of the comments I got, and it was an interesting comment. They said that if that basically seeking is when you don't come to any conclusion. If you want to be really, if you want to be a true seeker, um, you do not come to any conclusion. As much as I like to agree with that, I know that's the Sadhguru definition of a seeker, but and I may agree to a certain extent, but yes, disagreeing and questioning is the basis of Hindu tradition, and that is seeking. Seeking is when you will question things, and so therefore, although you may not come to a solid conclusion straight away, you will conclude something at the end. So, for example, if I watch a video, I will agree, disagree, question, comment on it, you know, do that, and then at the end, I will give my conclusion about it. Now, I was seeking the answer, I got the answer, then I discussed the answer. And that's the approach that you have to do. So for me, I think it's really important that you do that. So when that person asked if I'm a seeker and I shouldn't come to any conclusion, I would say yes and no. Yes, you shouldn't come to a conclusion because you don't want to come to the end of something, or you don't want to create a dead end that's not there. And then, but no, as in you do have to analyze, question, inquire, agree, disagree, do all that stuff, and then say, well, this is what I found. So that's something you can do. Um, so yeah. Have I watched any more new non-duality speakers? You know what, Sawdust for dinner? I've watched too many. Um, they're coming up on my YouTube a lot. Like it's real, it's really bad. Like every time I think, oh yeah, I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to react to it. Then I'm like, man, how much am I going to watch of? There's nobody here. There's no message. There's nothing to say. And what's annoying is, hey Dimitri, what's annoying is that I'm gonna keep saying the same thing again and again. But the thing is, I will have to do videos about them because and raise where they're because I will have to look at their arguments and dissect it and um, ridicule it. Uh, you know what I mean. I have to do all that um, because there may be a new people who will look at the message, who may come across my video and then rethink. So I'm always going to think about the larger picture. So eventually you will see me do more reaction videos to them. I'm trying to do a mixed match of everything so we don't get bored on one thing. Um, but my next person on the list is Tony Parsons. Um, so yeah, we'll be looking at him. Then there is also, I think it's called Non-Duality Fun. They do like videos, like animation. One thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give them brownie points on creativity. Like they found ways to give messages for their no message, for the messages they don't have. Do you know how frustrating that is to say that? I don't understand. Like it's so annoying, but they have found creative ways to. And the thing is, there's unity in them as well. So if one turn comes up, everyone is there supporting them, which is which I will praise them for that. But at the end of the day, because of the amount of videos and people there are out there, I will have to keep um I'll have to keep doing reaction videos. Yeah, same here, man. My feed is flooded with neo advaita, ego advaita, and other pseudo non-duality. Yeah, it really is. Like I have to deliberately like kind of watch other videos so that I don't get flooded with neo advaita videos. But I will be doing more. Um, Tony Parsons will be fun. Can't wait. Can't wait for it. Watching Newman reaction videos, such a joke. Yeah. The thing is, I saw the Tony Parsons ones was the last one that he's published on his website, which was in June. Oh, the meeting was in June, and I just found it so funny. Um, the way he gets worked up for something that apparently isn't there is quite hilarious. Just seeing it in action. Um, Roman, maybe we can say you can conclude something for the time being, but not attach yourself to it. Yes, Roman. Yes, I love that actually, and I will say that's basically what I was trying to say. That yeah, you can conclude something, but it's for the now. Tomorrow, you may change your opinion. You may come across an experience that changes the way you view things. But the one thing that I have concluded that I will not change on is that Neo Advaita is not the truth. That's one thing I've concluded. And I will completely say that anyone that follows Neo Advaita is either deluded or on the path of delusion. So, um, so yeah. So if you're part of that church of non-duality, pseudo non-duality, then it's a dangerous path. It's a dangerous path. And the other thing with Parsons is that he's the big daddy of them all. He is the man. He is the McDaddy of pseudo non-duality. Um, so Roman, you have to check out my live streams from like where I do reaction videos. There's loads of these people that come up with non-duality, and well, it's not non-duality. It's basically so what it is. They've gone to the logical conclusion of non-duality, but they've uh, they've really but they only look at it from that perspective, which is not the experience of life. Life is more. It's got different colors. There's not just It's not just one uh, color. It's many. So with them, they um so yeah, you gotta check out my other videos. Um, Neo-Advaita, neoliberal, neoconservative, neo-Nazi. I'm censoring a trend. Yep, that trend is there for real. Hey, Roman, experience is good. Experience is more important than anything, you know? Um, yeah, I've heard others refer to Parsons as an influence. He's kind of the guru of anti-gurus. Yeah, he really is. Well, apparently, he's the apparent. guru of the apparent anti-gurus. They're just thinking about not experiencing. Is that what you mean? Yes. So it's all conceptual. Experientially, they're not got there, and you can feel it in when they're talking. There's a certain vacuum. There's a certain emptiness in what they say. So yeah, it's it's really interesting. Lots of people seem to go nuts. No one does though. It's really destabilizing for unprepared minds. Absolutely. And the thing is, what's dangerous is, and Roman, this is the main reason why I'm against it, is because they see therapy as a wrong thing. They see um, getting emotional support as a wrong thing, and counseling as something bad, psychotherapy as something bad. So that's where I kind of have my disagreements with them, and I have my issues with them. Um, so, and because of that, because people stop seeking help and they just go into this non-dual apparent teaching of there's nothing here, no teaching, no message, nobody here, a lot of people end up getting hurt. And it's it's not non-duality. That even denies the thing that they do, even denies non-duality. So, and when I say this, I know there are some radical Hindu texts, but they take you to that journey. They don't they don't they don't just straight up say there's no one here, no message here, nothing. No. Even with um, the most radical Ashtavakra Gita, even then, there's a nice segue into it. There's a nice introduction to it, So, and if somebody gets more radical than Ashtavakra Gita, you know it's not non-duality. Gyan sometimes is like feeding the ego, and real bhakti helps control the ego. Just came to my mind. No, Yogi TM, good observation, but I've seen the opposite too, where I know what you mean by real bhakti, and you're right. Real bhakti uh, helps to control the ego. In fact, even diminish the ego in terms of its identification and control. Um, so you're right, but I would say that when there's bhakti without gyan, it can become fanaticism. People can become fanatics and be like, only my way is the best way. And you see that with the Hare Krishnas. Um, that's the way they approach things. So it can become a bigger ego. I have the best God. I have the best scripture. I have, you know, it goes on like that. So anything can actually feed the ego. What's important is to understand that you kind of need all of those things. You may be more suited for one, but you kind of need them all. Um, so yeah, and you don't exist, and me neither. I don't write this. It's just happenings for no reason. It's nothing and everything. Oh man, I love that. So Martin is our resident pseudo non-dualist. What do I say? He's the explorer, and he tells me of his discoveries, and um, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of them, Martin. Quite a few. By the way, Martin, I don't know if you sent me this person, or maybe it was Dimitri. I'm not too sure, or whether I came across this person called Igor. I think he's from Eastern Europe, I think. Um, so ego invited worshiper. I wouldn't say worshiper. I would say you're. You're the you're like the you're like their private investigator. Um, you tell us about what's going on. Um, but there's a guy called Igor. I don't know. I can't. I only watched one video, but I couldn't decide whether he was. Um, is he Neo Advaita? Um, it wasn't you, Dimitri. Okay. Don't know if it was you, Martin, but or it just came up on my feed. Um, so yeah. While I would agree that it's not the ultimate solution, but for someone at a really low state, I think therapy can still help people at least to get some little comfort back. Yeah, absolutely. Therapy is really important, actually. I sent you a link to one of Theo's video where he was actually making sense. I know. Um, when he talked about devotion to the non-dual Lord, I was really impressed. Um, I have noticed a bit of change in his thing. He does go back to the Neo Advaita, um, kind of sayings here and there, but he's got a lot better. Um, yeah, I kind of feel that he's got hurt about something. So I don't know what he's hurt about, but there is something. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. Yeah. Um, I've seen a few of Ariana's. One of Anna's came up, Anna Brown. I did have someone. I don't know where this person's gone now, but they're even off my. Oh yeah, Leah Sugarman. I've not seen her for a while. I hope she's all right. Um, Oh, in the video that followed, it was back to usual. Oh, okay. So the change wasn't too for too long. Well, the grift is for real, man. Like you could risk losing a lot of followers if you started speaking the truth. Um, does he now look left and right? uh, oh, we had good fun on that video. That was really good fun. Um, uh, It was so weird that I intuitively guessed what he was gonna say, and he said it. I knew, I knew he was gonna say something stupid like "Don't look left and right," and I knew an accident was gonna happen. And literally, we could have seen it happen. He was so crazy. I don't, I must say, TikTok is rather dry now. I actually really like YouTube, but I do attend a few YouTube lives of other people's, but sorry, TikTok lives. But yeah, yeah. I wonder whether, when it comes to people like Theo, whether they can't deny aspects of devotion. And actually, who was it? I think Yogi TM. You talked about Gyan causing ego or feeding the ego. I think that's where you're right in terms of um, like for the sake of the neo Advaitins, yeah, Gyan can create ego. Um, TikTok got too crazy for me. I don't need to be in so many people's heads. Yeah, it's a shame, really. I really like, see, with TikTok, I do like its community, but I have seen a lot of crazy things recently, like a lot more of these chakras and manifestation, loads of these astrologers. There's so many, and it's actually really disturbing. Um, I kind of miss the old times, and I'm relatively new on TikTok, so I'm talking about just a couple of months ago, where I don't know, maybe because I've got out of that space, but um, there was a genuine thirst to know more about spirituality. I see it here and there, like Sammy Varda, Akil does some amazing TikTok lives, and he chats to people, and does a great job. But yeah, it's really hard. There is a YouTube channel that exposes scammers. We could do one for Ego Advisor, attend their meetings and ask annoying questions. I have thought about that. I have thought about attending some, like, especially with Emerson, because I really want to. I really want to speak to them, but I fear that they would never allow me in the meeting. Yeah, he's crazy smart. So, um, like I mentioned, the next conversations with the bearded mystic is with him. Um, uh, and I've only done 30 minutes. There's 2 more hours of editing to do. Um, I'm loving it so far. Um, yeah. So I think so for me. So yeah. So the thing is, I know they won't allow me in the meeting. So what I would have to do with these, well, I've like I said, I've reached out to them. I've said, if you want to have a conversation with me, have a conversation with me, and I'd be willing to even make changes to my schedule to speak to them, to the neo advisors. So, I am open to discussing things with them. Yeah, the thing is, if somebody is talking about non-duality or Hinduism and they're talking nonsense, I do think it's worth um having a discussion and having conversation. Nothing wrong with that. Um but yeah, until then I keep reacting to their videos. So either they can um have a conversation with me, or I will create a conversation by reacting to their videos. So either way, I'm getting content and creating content, so I'm cool with it. Um, but one thing I must say, I have been seeing more of Ken. You remember the person that I looked at last time? Um, I've been seeing more of his videos. Um, it's a shame that he's really got sucked in. So yeah, a shame really. You can pretend you're someone else who's really interested, but you play dumb and ask questions all the time. Yeah, I guess I could. I could. Um, but yeah. But I think reacting to their videos on YouTube really puts someone, like, really highlights their issues. So someone may come across their videos and then see mine and then, like, kind of I guess I want to play with the algorithm a little, but maybe one day I'll attend a meeting and to kind of get a response to them. Which of these is most important to you? Self control, spirit of inquiry, contentment, or company of holy people? Right. Hmm. Yep. You're right, Sue. Nice to see you, Sue. Um, Dimitri, that's a really good question. Um, for me, I would say company of holy people. I love and I thrive in discussions and um like, for example, these conversations that we have on these lives. I find them to be so important for me because I get to refine what I think, and also at the same time put what I say under a microscope. So I really like that. And I think you can only do that if you're you're in the company of holy people, and I consider all of you holy people, um, and I really feel that. So I think for me that's the most important. Um, and I think with the company of holy people, you naturally get self control because they give you tools and they give you ideas about how to have self control. Um, they also help you with the spirit of inquiry because they'll ask you questions so you think deeply and you think a lot deeper and you get out of the superficial thinking. And then at the same time, the company of holy people will also show you how you have this wisdom with you all the time. Therefore, you are always content. So I think, but you could easily say the same for each one of them. Like, for example, if someone finds self control the most important, they will see why self control is absolutely necessary in the spirit of inquiry, in contentment, and in the company of holy people. You see what I mean? So I think whichever way you go, you're going to need all four. I think you kind of say that these are the four gatekeepers to moksha in Yog Vashisht. Um, so, yes. So, and the spirit of inquiry just takes you back to yourself. That's all it does. It takes you back to your true nature, to your true self. That's the spirit of inquiry. Whenever you go deep into inquiry, and not superficially asking who am I, but actually just traveling with the inquiry, y- it takes you to the same place um, that any other method would take you to, which is this formless awareness. Uh, yes. I have seen some of the videos of Beyond UG, and I will react to him, to his videos. He's got a cool channel. Not that I agree with everything, but I like his videos. He's better than. And I also think like people like, for example, Eugene was rather misunderstood. Um, like I feel that the neo advisor teachers want to be like UG, but they don't have the substance that he has. There wasn't a vacuum in Yuji. I still felt there was vitality in him, you know. So you're welcome. See, having self control is so difficult in today's day and age. If you think about it, I mean, it must have been difficult in every age, right? But today, like even more so, wherever you go, you see an advert. Um, you know, you see people selling things. So controlling your desires is a big, big, big thing. Where are you guys from? No, I'm from. Well, I mean that I live in America, but I'm from the UK, as you can tell from my accent. So yeah, I'll be. So I think I'll be on for another few minutes, and then I'll leave because I will want to carry on with editing. Today is my day of editing. So, so I can get these conversations with the bearded mystic out soon. Um, but I really enjoyed today's uh really enjoyed today's live. I like these non-duality and chill sessions. Um, I think we should do more of them. And I try and do them on a Friday between like 4 and 6, so I can catch the people in Europe um, and the UK. Nice. UK to Cali. Oh, nice. I love. I really need to visit California. One of my friends who's from the UK is he moved to California too recently, so I really need to go to the West Coast. Then I'll get to see some of you. Um, Midnight in Germany. Oh, wow, in Germany. Nice. Yeah, I think I have to visit California. Oh, you? Oh, you lived in? See, Martin. Martin, you've been everywhere. Um. So yeah. Yeah. I think I do have to visit California. And I mean, I heard the weather's really nice, so um, that's good. And there's loads of hippies there, and you can't go wrong with hippies. Yeah, everywhere, nowhere. Well, you're truly a global citizen, mine, which also tells me a lot about you in terms of um uh in our conversations. I've sensed um how broad you are and how broad-minded you are, and um I think it says a lot about, because I think when you travel, it does broaden the mind. But then I think about certain people, and I think, what happened to their mind? So, yep, faster way to drop labels is to travel and experience the places. Yep. Um, I would say like traveling, it can. I think that I think there is something in that because um, I think I stopped feeling like I was. Yeah, I would say traveling does really get rid of the notions that people adhere to. I'm a certified ego fighter teacher. Okay, people who are watching this, he's not an ego fighter teacher, so he's just joking. Don't Just in case there's a new person and they start attacking you, Martin. I can't have that. But Martin is the person that tells me about the new channels that are coming up. Um, Man, this. You know what's also really good is, and now I think about it, I should react more to those videos just for the sake of one, laughter, two, because there's so many out there. I think we need more people to react to their videos. So it's not just me, it should be more people. Some of you should start reacting to it, even if like you don't show your face or something, but you can do like a voiceover. Um, so that'd be kind of cool. Um, whatever. I mean, you don't have to, um, but yeah, that's pretty cool. My personal one was the Theo one. That was a personal favorite. The one that was more dear to my heart was the one about Swami Silverpinanda because um, I just naturally feel devotion towards him. So, um, and I consider him like a guru for me. So, although I've not been initiated by him, but there's a few other people that I want to react to. Like, there's some lectures from Nishta Fish, or For the Love of Yoga. He's an amazing speaker and lecturer. Um, but because he does long form videos, it's re- it's really interesting. there is a video, and I'm gonna have to seek his permission first before I do this. There's a video that he's put up on YouTube where he answers questions to people, um, and the answers are amazing. Like they're top notch. Um, I'm gonna have to ask him, and that'd be a good video to react to. Um, but yeah, there's a, but yeah, Swami Silverbrinnan was amazing. Um, that was one I loved. Um, and then if you like to look at some of the popular Indian gurus, so it's really up to you what you would like. Like for example, I did a reaction video on I've done two now on Sadhguru, and you get to see my take on even the popular gurus and what I think of them. So just because someone is popular doesn't mean I'm going to like them. So, um, so yeah. Let me look at the comments. Yeah. So yeah, good idea. Could do one video and disable comments. Yeah, like they all do. I mean, it's crazy, but they all disable comments. What is it with people disabling comments? It just goes to show they don't really want to create a community. They just want to just say things and do nothing about it. But yeah, do Martin. I agree. Martin should do it. Uh, yeah, I think Martin should. You got some good comments that you give in the chat, so imagine what you're like if you're recording it. But yeah, so anyway, what I'll do is I'll take my leave. I'll get back to podcast work. So this week, this Sunday, is a thoughts on the Bhagavad Gita one, and it's actually the last episode for chapter 4. So that's really cool. It's a nice end to the chapter. And then hopefully next week I'll have the conversations with the bearded mystic up. I have to record the introduction, finish the editing. So I have that, and then so yeah. Other than that, yeah, if you would like to support me on Patreon, you can do. The link is in the video description. Subscribe to my monthly Bearded Mystic newsletter. All that stuff, just check it all in the video description. It's all there. If you want to attend my meditation class, that's tomorrow. That's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're more than welcome. It's free. It's virtual. So I may see you there. So yeah. So hopefully I shall see some of you tomorrow. If not, take care. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, and yeah, we'll see you very, very soon. Yeah, take care, everyone. Lots of love to you. Bye.